Hi there! Welcome back to Uncle Cannon's Stranger Than Fiction. Did you grow up in the era of watching mangas, animes, or play video games in the 80s and 90s? Those with characters able to shoot out some kind of energy ball from the palms to hit opponent from a distance, like Kahehameha in Dragon Ball and Haduoken in Street Fighters? In Chinese pop culture, there have been countless martial art or Kungfu novels, TV series, movies showing characters hurting opponents with such Qi energy. You might say these are all fictions and entertainments, right? What is the point here? In the Chinese martial arts circle, according to renowned Kungfu Master Bruce Frantzis, this energy discharge is called Fa Jin, the storage and sudden discharge of energy without the use of muscular tension or adrenaline surges. In Indonesia, this energy is called tenaga dalam, which means inner energy in Indonesian. The name of the martial art is called pencak silat, widely practiced in countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and other Southeast Asia countries. Silat master had been known to use this energy to hit opponent from a distance. By practicing Qi Gong like Tai Chi, meditation techniques like Microcosmic Orbit, or other martial arts techniques, we will be able to cultivate this internal force in our body. But wait, what does this Qi has to do with spiritual practice? This is getting more confusing here. Well, a Taoist will tell you, Qi has everything to do with Taoist spiritual cultivation. 2 years ago, I have come across this popular Chinese fantasy web fiction, I Have Refined Qi for 3,000 Years. This kind of fantasy xianxia genre anime has been a big hit in China and Korea lately. This web fiction was so popular, it was even adapted into manga, anime series, and even a Netflix animation series. Though a work of fiction, it has incorporated certain real Taoist spiritual practices, methodology, and Taoist deities and realm into the novel. Here, I'm using a scene from the local Chinese production anime series to illustrate the role of Qi in Taoist spiritual cultivation. The first stage is body training. The Taoists believe a healthy body is essential for spiritual cultivation. A younger body has its advantages too. The second stage, Qi cultivation. The practitioner is to cultivate Qi through 100 days of continuous microcosmic orbit meditation. During this stage, some practitioners also incorporate exercises like Qi Gong, Tai Chi, or even yoga to increase the speed of energy cultivation. There has been a consensus among various Taoist sects that this 100 or more days of continuous meditation to cultivate Qi is very important for foundation building. Once the practitioner has built a solid foundation, and through continuous Qi cultivation, the golden Dan, or in other words, a golden pill, has been planted in the abdominal dantian, or energy center, of the practitioner. This is not to be confused with alchemical golden Dan described in the previous Immortal Pill video, which is categorized as an external Dan. While this golden Dan here is an internal one, produced through energy cultivation, an internal alchemical process. The golden Dan is like a seed in our energy center, and through continuous Qi cultivation, the seed will grow into a spiritual baby. In Taoist Master Mantak Chia's term, the practitioner is then pregnant with his or her own spiritual baby. And through continuous Qi cultivation, the spiritual baby will grow into roughly the same size with that of the practitioner. And thus, the practitioner has created his Yang Shen or Yang light body that the practitioner can use for the advanced form of astral projection discussed in the last video. This Qi cultivation process seems fictional, you might say, since it's a copy and paste photo from the internet. It's supposed to be bogus, right? You might say. Different Taoist sects and different Taoist master might tell you a slightly different Qi cultivation methodology or processes in much details. However, this high-level Qi cultivation process, even though it's copy and paste from the anime, is generally what all different Taoist sects can agree and commonly described in much of various Taoist esoteric literatures. In a funny way, this is also in line with the Taoist spiritual practice of using the fakes to cultivate the real. Using our egoic intention to discover our true self. In reality, what is Qi then? How real is this thing called Qi? You might have read that in some scientific publication. Human body is like a biological battery. At resting state, our energy output is equal to the power of 100 watts electrical light bulbs. Scientists and inventors has been working on high-tech wearable that use the minute energy harvested from human body. Our body can be a battery that never get flat. And a Taoist will say, that's the Qi for you. Just that. Through cultivation techniques and processes, the Qi can then be stronger and much stronger. In Taiwan, past president of National Taiwan University, Sai-Chen Li, were conducting scientific experiment on Qi of Taoist Master and Kungfu Master in the late 90s and 2000s. He made a Taoist Master execute an energy discharge from his palm while wearing a special infrared spectra detector on his finger. The result of his experiment has proven that this Qi thing is more real than fiction. I have added the link to his research paper in the video description below. In quantum physics, with its principles like wave-particle duality and the observer effect, suggests that the behavior of particles is inherently interconnected and that the act of observation itself influences the outcome of an experiment. It seems, since ancient times, the Taoists already know the secrets of quantum mechanics. By sitting quietly and focus all of our attention to observe our body in a certain way, the state of our bodily particle changes and turn into the waveform of Qi. In the end, scientific exploration and spiritual practice should all come together. For in China, this Qi cultivation and other supernatural practice were once very popular, and many scientific research was done in the 80s and 90s. It is called body science or somatic science. I will talk about this once crazy Qigong mania of the 80s and 90s in China in another episode of Uncle Cannon's Stranger Than Fiction. You might ask then, what has this thing got to do with me? By practicing yoga or Tai Chi or Qi Gong, which is what I called Chinese yoga, or other form of energy cultivation exercise on a daily basis, our body's subtle energy can be balanced, our body will be healthier. When we are sick or in pain, some of us will go to do acupuncture. Acupuncture is a practice to activate the Qi in the patient body to flow in a better way, so that the patient's body can heal itself. In some country, you can even get your insurance to pay for it. If you are on the spiritual path, you might want to check out this Qi cultivation thingy. By starting to practice Microcosmic Orbit meditation or any other form of energy-based meditation techniques, the potential can be quite, the Taoist would say, limitless. We will not only have a better physical health, but also a better mental health, and maybe even spiritual awakening and enlightenment. However, any form of energy-based meditation techniques are not without its danger. Tragic accidents had happened to unfortunate self-practitioners in the past. It is advised to seek guidance from a renowned guru or master from either the Indian tantric tradition, Taoist tradition, Tibetan Buddhist tradition, Sufi tradition, or Kabbalah tradition, just to name a few. But the Indian tantric described this thing as prana, while some other tradition called it the life force, vital force, or ether, just to name a few. Well, are they all the same? What is the difference? In general, they are all the same. Some gurus might say that they are different. To be specifics, it is true that the energies in our body operate in many different frequencies and strength. Let's not delve into the technicality at this juncture. Hey, how about the Shaolin masters who practice Kung Fu, Qigong, and Zen meditation? It seems this has been left out intentionally. Shaolin masters like xianxia, headmaster of the Shaolin Temple Europe, is a great teacher in both martial arts and spiritual practice. It's highly recommended to learn Qigong, like 8 silk brocade from him, to kickstart our Qi cultivation. However, if you go to China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, or any Greater China region, finding a monk or nun that have advanced spiritual practice and cultivate Qi at the same time can be tricky. The majority of Mahayana Buddhist and Theravada Buddhist practitioner simply do not practice energy cultivation if to compare to their Tibetan Buddhist counterparts, that's more tantric and yogic in nature. It is by no means whatsoever to imply that Mahayana Buddhist and Theravada Buddhist spiritual practice are inferior comparatively. Their spiritual practice are equally effective and are well respected too. It's just that we might not be able to learn energy cultivation from them. There is one time when I was at a Theravada monastery trying to get permission from the abbot to be a yogi there so that I can stay in the monastery to focus on my own spiritual practice. Upon hearing my energy cultivation practice, my request to stay at the monastery as a yogi was rejected. The Theravada Buddhist abbot told me the Qi cultivation practice that I'm doing is dangerous, knowing where he is coming from. His opinion was respected. I respectfully left the monastery, and my search for a quiet place to practice continues. Eventually, I was able to find a Theravada monastery that didn't quite care about my practice and let me stay on as a yogi. They gave me a hut, or kuti, to stay and meditate, and they fed me with good foods twice a day, all for free. I ended up spending about 2.5 weeks in the Theravada monastery last year, I have learnt so much about the Theravada Buddhist tradition that was unknown for me previously, and my Qi cultivation practice has greatly improved too. Well, this might be another story for another episode. Please let me know if you want to know more about being a yogi in a Theravada monastery by giving me feedback in the comment below. Well, that's all for this episode, folks. There are web link and YouTube video link has been added in the video description for those who are curious. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Sincerely, thank you. See you again in the next episode of Uncle Cannon's Stranger Than Fiction.